Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about two different players, and the first player that we are going to be talking about is going to be about Mingueza, a Barcelona B product that has made a great debut season. And then we're also going to be talking about Dembele, the young Frenchman that has made a complete turnaround with Barcelona in this season. These are two players that are very young. These are two players that have been performing very well for Barcelona overall, and I do think that now it is time to discuss what these two players could do for Barcelona for years to come. And so we are first going to be talking about Mingueza. So Mingueza is a 21-year-old center back, and he made his debut back on November 24th, 2020, which was against Dynamo Kiev. And I remember when Mingueza first came into the scenes, and many were asking, who's Mingueza? Who is this player? Is he a Barcelona B player? Did we buy him about 2 years ago? And as Mingueza continued to play for the first team, he was making a mark for himself. Many fans were starting to realize just what Mingueza could become for Barcelona. And I do believe that now that we stand here today, Mingueza is considered as another gem for FC Barcelona. The way that he tracks back when he needs to track back, the way that he is so attentive in terms of when to pressure, when not to pressure, knowing his surroundings, and always anticipating the opposition's movement. Where are they going to be going on his perspective, on his left, on his right? Mingueza is always going to be ready from the opposition's attack. Mingueza has shown time and time again over through many games that he is a great player. Now he has made some rookie mistakes as a defender within that defensive line, which is completely normal. Every center back does make mistakes. Every center back does make rookie mistakes, but he has adapted. He has learned from those mistakes. He continues to get better. He continues to provide more value for Barcelona. And this defensive line that we have been witnessing with Mingueza and other center backs that have emerged into the first team, our defensive line looks stronger than ever. And with Mingueza, who is again a Barcelona B product who went through the whole academy process, seeing how this player is performing so well with the first team, he is one of the leading examples for the other Barcelona B players, for the other Juvenil A players, to show that they can still make it. And this is why La Masia is just so important, right? Because Mingueza is just another case study to show why La Masia is so valuable, to show why that La Masia cannot be replaced. Because every time we do grab a player from Barcelona B or through Juvenil A and bring them into the first team, they have been performing very well, and they have been looking like they have been playing with the first team for the past 5 to 6 years. They look very experienced, and they simply just know their roles. And if we were to look over the past years how La Masia was managed, many were assuming that La Masia was just not producing the young talent that Barcelona was once producing about 10 to 15 years back. But it is not a downfall, my friends. La Masia was continuing to produce youth players, and they have been doing that consistently for the past years. The only difference that did happen, and especially under the Bartomeu era, was that it has been mismanaged. That is the reason why La Masia seemed like it has stalled. And Oscar Mingueza, who has emerged onto the scenes, is again a leading example for the other players. And you look at the match between Mingueza and Sevilla, Mingueza yet again puts out a great performance. And this is not just a random game where Barcelona plays against Huesca or Levante or Eibar. Mingueza played against a team like Sevilla, a Sevilla side that is probably playing one of their best football in years. And in this game, Mingueza had a total of 6 interceptions against Sevilla, which is considered as the highest player that accumulated the amount of interceptions against Sevilla. You also have Jordi Alba, who had a total of 4. You also have Longley, who also had a total of 4. Mingueza was in the top of that list, and Mingueza executed a total of 4 interceptions in his own half and executed a total of 2 interceptions in the opposition side. Now, many are going to be asking, what is he doing making interceptions that high up the field? Well, if you look at the play here between Barcelona and Sevilla, you can see that the left back of Sevilla was trying to pass it towards the left winger of Sevilla, but then you can see Mingueza slowly crawl up right behind that left winger from Sevilla, and Mingueza wins that battle. Mingueza executes yet again another interception in the opposition's half, and every time he does win those interceptions in the opposition's half, and more specifically against Sevilla, Mingueza goes on the full attack. Barcelona goes into full control, and that is how you create those goal-scoring chances. Mingueza just completely understands when to anticipate a pass. Mingueza knows and understands when to anticipate where a player is going to go or where the ball is going to go, which is why we are seeing in this picture that Mingueza is timing his runs 100% correctly, which leads towards Barcelona moving forward and potentially making a goal-scoring chance. And let's evaluate the season that Mingueza is having, because there are questions going around the club, and that is, should we promote Mingueza into the first team? Because look, Mingueza is not a first team player. He is still considered as a Barcelona B player. He has not been promoted yet, and I do think that it is safe to say that Mingueza Mingueza deserves to be in the first team full time, and not even just be in the first team full time, but actually start in the starting 11 because of the way that he has been performing. So when could we see Mingueza get promoted into the first team? What are going to be the plans for this player, and when could we expect to hear some plans on this player? So look, Mingueza's contract does end in the summer of 2021, which is in about 3 months. And within that contract, he does have an option to extend for a further 2 years, very similar to Riqui Puig's contract. And you could see some consistencies going on with the contracts of these academy players. You can see that many of these players that do get first team minutes, their contracts usually do tend to end very early, and they always do have an option within the contracts that gives them the opportunity to extend another 2 or 3 years. It happened to Riqui Puig and Mingueza, and I do believe that that is the major plan that Barcelona want to execute, which is they want to evaluate how he does play within the first 1 to 2 seasons, and then always have that option just in case if that player does play well. So it's very interesting to see how the club does handle the academy players. But with Mingueza, it is so clear that they should extend his contract, and it is ultimately going to come to the decision of the brand new president, whether it's going to be Laporta, Toni Freixa, or Victor Font. They're going to be making the decision whether he should be continuing with the club, yes or no. But the direction that this club is going to be taking for this young Spaniard, it is so clear. Mingueza is going to be continuing, and there are further questions regarding this player. Like, for example, if Barcelona are going to be continuing the contract of Mingueza and he's going to be staying with us until 2023, why are we getting Eric Garcia, who is another player that Barcelona are planning on getting in this summer of 2021? And to be very honest, I do not see this as a problem. I do not see having Eric Garcia, Mingueza, and Ronald Araujo in the squad list a major problem. What I do think that needs to be addressed for the new board who's going to be involved in this club is going to be that they have to address the defenders outside from Ronald Araujo, Mingueza, and Eric Garcia. So players such as Gerard Piqué, Samuel Umtiti, and Longley. 3 players who are still world-class players who still have their downfalls, but it is clear that Barcelona's image is changing, and they want to change that in this summer. And decisions are going to be made in the summer regarding Longley, Samuel Umtiti, and Gerard Piqué. What are they going to do? Are they going to loan them? Are they going to sell them? Are they going to maintain them? But the future of this defensive line is very clear, and that is going to be Eric Garcia, Ronald Araujo, and Mingueza. And we should expect Mingueza to continue to deliver for this club for the rest of this season under Ronald Koeman. Because one of the downfalls that Koeman is experiencing so far in the season is that many center backs are encountering some serious injuries. And that is why I do believe that his role is going to be more important as we go deeper into the season. You look at Gerard Piqué, where a report has just come out stating that Gerard Piqué is going to be out for a total of 3 to 5 weeks. He did not encounter a torn ankle or a rupture within his ankle. Everything is completely fine, but he is going to be out potentially for at least 3 weeks. And you can assume that Piqué is going to try and look for that fast forward process. Piqué does want to play against PSG. We don't know if he's going to be actually making it, but the problem within the defensive line, fitness wise, is becoming much bigger than expected. We look at Ronald Araujo, who is another player that is within the recovery process. He wants to make it for the match against Osasuna. As of now, it is very unclear on whether Ronald Araujo is going to be making it in that match, or if he's even going to feature in the match against PSG next week on Wednesday. Now, I know that it is not the best idea to rely on a young center back like Mingueza, but the fact that we're even hearing the storyline of a Barcelona B player take charge over players like Ronald Araujo and Piqué when they cannot be there, it's almost like it's poetic, because who knows how this is going to turn out. It either turns out really good or really bad, because in the end, Mingueza is going to be giving it 100%, and I do believe that with his talent as a academy player, he will deliver. And by the time this season is over, this is going to be a season to remember, not just for us Barcelona fans, but for Mingueza himself. Then moving on to the next player, and we are going to be talking about Dembele. So speaking about yesterday's game between Barcelona and Sevilla, which was probably one of the best accomplishments Koeman has experienced with this team, there has been so many key points that we had to talk about, and I want to talk about Dembele, which is why I am going to be including him in this video. In yesterday's game, I don't think that Dembele had a good performance. I don't think that Dembele had a magical moment. What I believe we saw with Dembele against Sevilla is a re-engineered Dembele. That is the best way you could describe how Dembele was playing against Sevilla, and I'm going to be explaining why I'm saying this. When you are a player that's being re-engineered, not only does that mean that you're going to be having a new role on the field, but that also means that you're going to be having a new role that you completely understand from the inside and the outside. And when you understand your role from the inside and the outside, and you know your duties, and you know that within yourself that you can execute the role that you are being demanded by the coach, aka Ronald Koeman, that does bring consistency. And when you have a consistent Dembele that plays very well in every minute of the match, every time you do touch the ball, when you have that version of Dembele, that is a irreplaceable player that you do not want to take out from the field until those 90 minutes are over. Because every time Dembele received the ball and he moved the ball forward, he looked so effective. Because every time Dembele was going on the attack, Barcelona as a whole looked very effective and very efficient on what they wanted to do once they did get into that final third area. And so what does that mean, right? What did Dembele re-engineer towards to? What is he now? And I do believe that Dembele has been out of that position where he is not going to be limited in terms of how he moves forward. Every time we did see Dembele on the right wing, he always did either two different moves. One was to either take down the opposition, go for the corner and look for the cross, or two, cut in inside and look for the final pass in order to pass it to Lionel Messi or Antoine Griezmann. Those were his duties. But now we're seeing this new re-engineered Dembele, who is playing much more centralized as a player. He has much more freedom to express himself. You really have to take back and take note of just how much this does mean for Dembele, because when you have expressions, when you can express yourself, when you're not told to do one specific thing all the time, even though you want to do another, once you get into that moment where you could be expressive, when you can pass whenever you want to pass, when you can create whenever you want to create, when you can take on players whenever you want to take on players, that is going to be so fulfilling inside. And that is what we are seeing with Dembele. Every time Dembele is on the field carrying the ball, he looks so expressive, he looks happy, he's talking to the players, he's commanding players on what to do, where to place themselves. He is being greatly involved, and that has been highly benefiting FC Barcelona. And that is why we did see Sevilla get scored on by a beautiful goal coming from Dembele, because again, he expressed himself. He's much more central. He can do that final touch for this team instead of being that second to final touch for the team. This is always going to remind me of the Neymar example. You look back into 2013 where Neymar did start as a left winger. He looked completely in control and very limited. He always used to take the ball down the left wing, look for players such as Lionel Messi, Alexis Sanchez, maybe sometimes Xavi Hernandez, and that was about it. He was there only for the purpose of moving Barcelona more advanced up the field. But as Neymar continued to move with Barcelona through the 2014-15 season, through the 2015-16 season, you start to see that Neymar was actually much more than a left winger. He centralized himself. He showed that he can create. He looked more of a Felipe Coutinho type of player. And now that we stand here today in 2021, Neymar is not even a left winger anymore. Neymar is a player that's completely more centralized and is one of the sole creators for PSG. And we are seeing the exact same thing with Dembele. Dembele can create. Dembele can create chances for himself. We even did see against Sevilla where he wanted to take down a total of 3 to 4 players within the middle of the pitch. He was that final player, something that we did not regularly see when he was playing on the right wing area. And Dembele has shown that when he is in his best version, he is world class. He is irreplaceable, and there are sensations that Dembele is going to be wanting to continue with this club and look for that contract extension and achieve the unbelievable and the unpredictable with Barcelona. So as for the final conclusion for Dembele, it says here, according to Javi Miguel, that Dembele did not jump on the field today for training, but the discomfort in his left calf does not seem to be too serious, and he is not ruled out for the game on Saturday. This is completely normal. The fact that we did not see Dembele in today's training session with the group, it is because he does tend to have individual work after we do play a match within the next morning, and this is the reason why we have not seen Dembele encounter any injury for about 15 matches straight. We are going to be receiving updates regarding many of these players such as Pjanic, Dembele, Piqué, Ronald Araujo within the next 24 hours, because we are going to be having a match on Saturday that will be up against Osasuna. Everything about that is going to be talked about in this channel. So that's going to be it for today's Barcelona Daily News. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.